Today we're going to go over my favorite boats available right now on Yacht World as kind of a fun thing to do in the new year. The best boats for 2025 that you can buy right now under 50K. I've been doing a lot of educational content for you guys, and I've gotten a lot of questions on how, James, is it possible to cruise on a boat that costs 20,000 or 30,000 or 5,000? And anything's possible. People take boats all sorts and sizes all across the oceans. But I think to have a full-time, live aboard, comfortable boat that you can handle, two people on, because I really don't, I know there's a big excitement about solo sailors, but honestly, life is meant to be shared. And it takes a boat of a certain caliber and size to be able to be comfortable enough for two people, in my opinion. Now, I had a very small catamaran before, and it was fine, and I had fun, and I was young, and there was only two of us, and sometimes there were 4 or 5 of us. So there are exceptions to every rule, like your age and your comfort level and your what you're used to and everything. So I'm just going to limit it to 50,000. All right. So I'm going to do a few of these videos, and we're going to talk, and we're going to go through Yacht World, and we're going to talk about exactly what boats I would buy if I were in your shoes and you were looking for a boat to cruise on and to start refitting for cruising offshore. This is for blue water boats offshore, guys, this year. So this is what's for sale right now. All right. So listen, I am very, very welcoming to questions, but I am gonna flip back and forth. I'm gonna answer the questions as we're going through this. Okay. So are you guys ready? You guys can follow along with me if you'd like to. You can go to Yacht World as well, and you can go through, and I'll show you exactly all the settings that I put in there to search for the boats that are the best. So what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna see all the boats for between $10,000 and $60,000, because we're looking at $50,000 boats, right? So we're going to look a little bit higher, like 10% higher, because usually you can get about 10% off of a boat. All right, that's kind of the norm. So and then after that's done, I'm going to show you my settings that I use when I'm looking for my boat, my specific boat. So I like to break it down by make. But anyway, let's get into it, yeah? Happy New Year's, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. We're going to be searching for boats live right now, boats for sale today. It's December 1st, 2025, and I have a very special announcement to all you guys that are here. I've got a brand new video that's going to go live right after this. Comments for the live chat have been turned off. Are you sure? Is that true? Let's see. How do I turn them on? How are you commenting to me if they're turned off? I don't think so. Let me know if you guys can comment. Comment. I don't think I turned it off. I think it's on. All right. So without further ado, we're going to go to my screen, and then we're going to go to, boom, Yacht World. Okay, so you guys can all see what I'm doing here. Let's just make sure. Okay. Yep. Yes, everything's good. Thank you, SVEOD. Thank you, Fred. Fred's here. What's up, dude? I think you're hungover, my friend. So you got my little face down there, and you got the Yacht World up right here, okay? So look, even if you're looking for a boat a lot more money than this is the same kind of parameters that you're going to go and use, okay? So you can't just search all the boats, because there's 70,000 boats for sale on Yacht World right now. And Yacht World's not the only place you can do this search. And actually, Yacht World is really giving it to all of the brokers, and all of the brokers are trying to get away from Yacht World, because the same conglomerate company owns boats.com, yachtworld.com, and a couple other ones, and they're taking the screws to the brokers and making them pay. I think they pay like $3,000 a week or something, or a month, just to be on the site, which is crazy. So they're using a site called Yachter now. I'll just show you that real quick. Yachter. That, let's see, where is it? Yachter. I thought it was Yacht R. Maybe Yacht R. Yacht RR. Yachter, yachts for sale. Yachts for sale. Yacht R, yachts for sale. Well, I guess I'm wrong. Maybe one of you guys can send me the link. Anyway, that's supposed to be the next big thing. Okay. So this is what we're gonna do. Now we're starting the actual thing. We're 8 minutes into the live stream. And make sure I don't have any comments from you guys. I think you mean January 1, not December 1st. Did I say December 1st? I meant January 1st. Happy New Year's, everybody. Comments were turned off. Sorry, no, they're not. Okay, so this is all of the criteria that I'm gonna do. Okay, we're gonna start from the top and work down. Length. The minimum length that I think would be viable for an offshore cruiser is 32 feet. So I'm going to say 32 feet. And actually, it's probably 37 feet is more like something you're actually going to live on. So if you're going to go around the world and you want to cruise with your wife, 37 feet is better. Price, we're going to start with $10,000 and we're going to go to a max of $60,000. That'll give us a good price range to not get boats that are new, that don't have a price, because those pop up when you don't put a low price. And we have a little bit of headroom there. You could probably find a boat for 70 grand and get it for 50 grand, but let's just see what comes up here. Year doesn't really matter to us. Now, there's different camps in this thought process. I know a couple of YouTubers that say, don't buy anything over 20 years old. I'm not in that boat. I think there's a lot of great boats that are older. They were built really, really well, and the fiberglass is still good. They were built with good resins. Some of these boats were hand built. They would cost $3 million today to build the same boat, and you can snag these things up for under 100 grand or whatever the price. The point being, the fiberglass doesn't wear out, right? Unless it has some kind of structural issue or they didn't use resin that was correct. So because of that, you can always find older boats that are nice, in my opinion. And I even have one. My boat is 30 years old and it is beautiful and it runs great, and I've updated a lot of systems. You're gonna have to, what matters when you buy a boat is who you buy it from, but we'll get into that later. So the year we're not gonna put in there. The boat type, we're gonna put sail, we're gonna put all sail. The make, we're not going to go into specific makes yet, but we are going to go to fuel. This is an important one. We're going to put diesel fuel. All right. We do not want a petrol boat for going around the world. That is gasoline, petrol, and electric. No, either. That can be debated, but for now, for 50 grand, you're not going to find an electric boat. Sorry. You can do a conversion on it later, but it's going to be a lot more money than 50 grand. Or maybe not. Maybe you can figure it out. So right now, that's what we're going to do. So what do we have? One last one here. Where's the hull material? Here we go. Hull material, we're going to do fiberglass. All right? We can do steel as well. No wood. Absolutely no wood for people first starting out. If you want to buy a wood boat, you're going to need to get some sailing skills and some cruising skills first. Jumping into a wood boats are a stupid amount of maintenance, and it'll just be too much for you to learn all the different systems and learn how to do all the wood working and stuff. Okay, so tackle one at a time. Get a smaller boat, get a plastic boat, learn how to rebuild a macerated pump and how to put new brushes into a electric motor and how to change the oil in the diesel and get the air out of the diesel and all that stuff. So we're going to do fiberglass and steel, diesel, all sailboats from 32 feet on. All right, and there's 981 boats. That's a lot. All right, I'm gonna actually change the length to 37 feet because that's more like really the scope that I wanted to do in this live stream. Okay, so let's see how many people we have. Why no aluminum hull? Because you're not going to find an aluminum hull for less than 50 grand. Aluminum is hellaciously expensive, and it's expensive to build with. It's expensive to weld. It's expensive to test. It's probably one of the best materials for boats, but you're not going to find a good blue water boat for 50 grand that's aluminum. if you find something that's aluminum for under 50 grand, that's probably going to be trashed. Aluminum has a life. It oxidizes, layers of oxidization keep sloughing off of it. And then, you know, they say in the military that there's a 40 year life to aluminum. There's a $2 million tall ship here from Baltimore for $200K because it's wood and they can't sell it. Yeah, well, that's it. All right. So now we have 371 boats. Perfect. That's enough boats for us to look at today. It'll take about half an hour. We'll go through all of them. And then at the end, I'm going to show you another search that anybody can use at any price. And I'm going to go through every make that I like. And we're going to tag all those makes. And then we're going to save that search. And then whenever you come back to YachtWorld, your search criteria will already be there, your saved search. And then you can just click on that one key and it'll give you all the boats that you're actually interested in, instead of seeing all these crazy boats that are not the ones you want. All right. So just to clarify, we've got $10,000 to $60,000, 37 feet plus, diesel fuel, fiberglass hull or steel hull, and all sailboats. Okay, and there's 371 of them for sale. That's a little bit better than the 70,000 that we started with. Okay. All right, let's go through them one by one. These featured boats at the top every time, those are boats that are recommended by YachtWorld. So I think what we'll do, let's see, let's just do listing date new to old. Okay, that's a good enough. So this is going to be the newest listing dates at the second row. So this Acapulco 40 was just listed probably today or yesterday. These ones at the top are featured boats that the brokers have paid a little extra to get them on the top row. All right, so that's how that works. Beneteau, I don't like. I personally, okay, this is going to be my opinion after 80,000 miles cruising on what I've seen people buy. I've seen hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. I've got tons of friends in the cruising industry. I've got people, you know, like some of my friends have a lot of miles, some a little bit of miles. I've seen a lot, and I've seen people go through boats and keep changing out boats and bitch about the boats that they have and say, okay, this isn't right. I've been sailing on a lot of their boats. I've delivered a lot of boats. I don't think that Beneteaus are offshore boats. Now, you might hate me for that, but I personally would not buy one just because of the way that they're designed. They're very thin hull. They're very cheaply made. They're kind of like it doesn't mean that they're bad boats. They're very great entry-level boats, but you'll find a lot of them in this section because they're cheap. And once they get older, they're not worth as much. I personally don't think they have the weight ratio, and I don't think they have the characteristics to really be a round-the-world sailor. Now, that said, I have a buddy named Richard that has a Beneteau 50, and he's sailed that thing all over hell and back, and he loves it, and he smokes me on my oyster, and they're great sailing boats. So just realize where this is coming from. I like big, heavy boats that are forgiving, so Beneteaus are automatically out in my book. Dufours as well, I don't like those. Vaquier, I love. Those are great boats. Those are French boats, French name, and great boats. So this Vaquier Chance 37, I would give that a good glance. Same thing with the Grand Soleil 39. I think that's a good boat. I don't know much about the Acapulco. It's got a cool shear line on it. I would give that a look just to see like what kind of shape it's in. So, we're going to go through and I'll just show you the boats that I like, and then we're going to pick out a couple of them to really look into more. Moody 41, I love Moody's. Moody's are badass. I really, everybody that has a Moody loves their boat. And I've seen many Moody's circumnavigate and sail around Cape Horn, and they're strong, they're well made, very good brand. I like Moody's. So that 84 Moody 41. Let me just touch on this real quick. 1984 is now 40 years old, okay? So can you insure a boat that's 40 years old? Yes, you can. There are companies that have, a lot of companies that have a cutoff at 40 years, but there can be waivers. And if you refit the boat and you fly in a NAM surveyor to wherever the boat is, or if you're in the States, of course, you can just have him come down. There's a surveyor in every major city. You can absolutely 100% survey and insure a 40-year-old boat. Absolutely. If you are having problems with that, contact me. I've got a couple of guys that will help. Now, can you survey? Is the insurance company going to take on the risk of you, you know, having this piece of shit boat that you bought in Panama and then you want to sail it around the world? No, absolutely not. But if you do everything correctly, you get a mechanic to see the engine, get a NAM rated surveyor to come down from the States, and it's a significant investment for you. But if you get the right kind of package and you say, look, this is what I've done, this is what I'm going to do, this is my 24-month plan, would you like to take on the risk? A lot of the time they will make a waiver for you and let you do that. All right, let's see. Hey, Graham's here. What's up, dude? Sailing SV Odie says, Moody's are amazing. I love my 46. See, another Moody sailor that loves his boat. Most of the Moody sailors I know absolutely love their boat. I've interviewed a few of them. Graham says, Dimitri, Robert Hal, maybe because he's only looking at boats under 50K. Yeah, that's true. I think Alluring Arctic Sailing's aluminum hulled boat cost around 50K when they bought it some years ago. Okay, great. I mean, they know aluminum boats very well. Then I wouldn't say that you'd be able to buy an aluminum hull boat for less than 50K unless you were an expert sailor and boat refitter, because I bet you that they've put in a lot more than 50K into that boat. All right, I'm not sure, but I'm just, there's no way that you can build a 40-foot aluminum hull for $50,000. You can't. So whatever you're going to find there is just going to be a hull. There's a Meta for sale right now in Panama for $90,000. That's like a $300,000 boat. But it's been sitting for 20 freaking years. It's got mold on everything, all the running rigging and everything. It's going to need $100,000, $200,000 put into it. So yes, there are exceptions like that, but I'm talking to the populace. You understand where my positioning is here? It's easier for me just to say, look at plastic and steel. It's you can tell with steel if it's bad. Aluminum's harder. Okay, let's go. Now we have the Hank Tingen 46. I don't even know what that is, but just because you don't know the name doesn't mean that it looks like a full keel shallow draft. I don't like that boat at all. Let me show you what I'm looking at. Okay, you see that? Yeah, that's a full keel shallow draft boat. Yeah, no, I'm not a big fan of that. That thing won't sail very well. And it's got that real nice overhang IOR. No, I'm not a big fan of that. It also looks like it hasn't been sailed in a while. Yeah. Oh, it looks like it's strip plank with fiberglass on it. Constructed in Holland. Has done a circumnavigation. Yeah, well, it's 50 years old. So when was that? 1960. No, it's freaking 70 years. Yeah, no. I'm sorry, I didn't see that. Bavarias. Again, Bavarias are in the same boat. I'm just generalizing here. You can find some Bavarias in some years that were pretty good, but for me, Bavarias are not offshore boats. Kalik, I don't know what that is. Naiad 390. Hell yeah. Perfect, dude. That's an awesome boat. That is a boat that you could get. If you could get this boat for 50K, I bet you if you offered him 50K, he'd give that to you. Look, it's a 39-foot boat with a bow thruster. That's cool. These are badass boats. The deck's going to have to come off. So it's an 87. It's almost 40 years old. Oh, those hatches look horrible too. But, buy a couple new hatches. These hatches are, what, $400 a piece? Those are... I don't even know what those are, but you could replace those with Lumar 20s for $1,000 for brand new ones. Oh, you need one here too. Rip the deck off the thing because all these holes are going to be leakers. The thing is, you got to look on the inside of the boat. Yeah, it's going to need new canvas. It looks like it needs a new window for the Dodger. Needs new hatches. Let's look on the inside and see how bad the water damage is. Oh, it doesn't look too bad. Yeah, looks good. So you can tell right here is the compression post for the mast. You can tell water's been coming down there. Not a big deal. Ah, shit, where'd it go? Yeah, there's a fold down seating area here. So what I'm looking at here is I'm looking at the wood, and I'm trying to see where all the water damage is, because with that deck comes water damage. But this boat doesn't look too bad. It looks like some of it's gone on the floor a little bit. Right here, you see that? All this is water damage. It doesn't look too bad at all, guys. This is a nice boat. If you had 50 grand, this would be a freaking great option, man. This is going to be a good sailor. Volvo Penta is not my favorite engine, but whatever. You can make it work. And there's the layout. All right, so that's a very, very, very fast review of that boat. Let's see. Any questions so far? David Peterson says, looking at the keel right away tells me why you like Moody's. Some of the best keel options in their fleet. Yeah, they're nice. They're nice boats. Serenity says, not sure, but a solid glass hull may be more expensive to build than one of boat than aluminum. Well, aluminum is hard because aluminum you have to extract from rock. It's not just sitting in the ground like gold. You have to actually like electrically extract it and then melt it all down and then make it into sheets and then cut the sheets and then mold the sheets and then weld the sheets, and then the welding has to be perfect, and then which is a pain in the ass to build an aluminum boat, and it's fucking expensive. And to build it right, to build a good one, you know, there's not that many. Like the Dutch build really good aluminum boats. The French Meta Strongall is really, really good boats, but if you look up aluminum boats that are ready to cruise, they're 600, 700, 800,000 or more. And if they're newer, then they're a lot more. Happy New Year, Corin and Charlotte. Nice to meet you guys. Thanks for doing this. I'm learning so much. Oh, cool. Right on. I'm glad you like it. They got it for 50, but also had to put a ton of money into it. Yeah. That's what I thought. My boat is an 81, no problem insuring it. Yep, it's a Moody 81, 1981 Moody something, right? 40 something. Yeah, and it helps a lot is if you have a NAM certified surveyor do that for you. Okay. 1978 custom Lundstrew one-off Gladys 34. I'd be careful about a one-off. I'm not even going to go into that. It could be a great boat. It could be not a great boat. It depends on a lot of factors. I'd like to see the underwater profile of the boat. Like I've seen enough boats now where just in a second, if I see the boat out of the water, I can tell you if it's going to pound or if it's going to sail well. Pearson 38 from 1990. I like Pearsons. Pearsons were like the really, really heavily constructed Beneteau, version of the Beneteau. There's so many of those, and they were so popular, and there's so many people sailing around on them, and they've been so far. They're not fast. They're not the best sailing boats in the world. They don't point, as high as a Beneteau will, but they're strong. They're stout. A lot of them have encapsulated keels, and they're just a tough boat. You can just take the cushions out of it and spray down the inside of the boat, and it's a great one. They're the definition of plastic fantastic. So I would say Pearson 38 was probably a good boat. I'd have to see more of it. I don't know that exact model. Freedom. Okay, so Freedom boats are, these are kind of neat boats. They have this big old mast. This one is a ketch, so it has two masts. So it's basically two masts with two mains and no rigging. So a lot of people love these boats. Let's see if we got a picture of it. They don't show a picture of it sailing or anything, but basically you got two masts, two booms, and you can do wing on wing really easy with those. One mast is on the very, very front of the boat. I have no experience with Freedom. I don't know a lot about them. I just know that the people that like them, and they hold their value well. So you're on your own there. That's an old boat. You probably, I imagine, would have some learning to do on that one. All right, let's see. These are all sponsored boats. Beneteau First 38. Yeah, that's out for me. Sorry. Catalina 38. Okay, this is a very special boat. I like Catalinas. I owned a Catalina. It sailed really well. I met a girl that sailed a Catalina 30 from Seattle to Panama, changed out the cutlass bearing in a river, in the water, pulled the shaft, changed the bearing, put the shaft back in. and then proceeded to go to Galapagos in Ecuador. That is, I'm going to guess 8,000 miles, and probably more with all the, messing around. And it was on a Catalina 30 with a mast about that big around and standing rigging about that big. And the boat was fine. All of the bulkheads had delaminated because they're just tabbed in, which means basically like here's the hull of the boat, here's the bulkhead. So you put the bulkhead against the hull, and then you take these 1-inch pieces of fiberglass tape, and then you just tape in here and here and here and here and here. Put like 6 of them on there. Put some epoxy on it, and then call it a day. That's how they put the bulkheads into most of those production boats. Nowadays, they don't even do that. They just use caulking. It's crazy. But all she had to do was reposition everything, while she wasn't sailing, and then fully glass in, like put a big piece of glass on either side of that, and it solved that problem. All of the cleats had ripped off the boat. She had basically had to rebuild the interior because it was like kind of falling apart, but the boat was still floating. She never ripped the mast off of it, and she got down there. Now, this specific boat, the Catalina 38, is not a good boat. Why? This is a IOR boat. So you see how the back end of it goes up here? Can you guys all see my cursor? It's kind of like a weird looking wine back end. It's kind of sloped. Anytime you see a boat with a really, really sloped back end like that, that's an IOR boat. And the tumble home is a little bit weird on it too. You see it? So the reason that these boats are designed like that is because of an old racing rule where they were trying to get around a rule and cheat, basically, where the length of the waterline for the boat is where the speed comes. If you multiply that length in feet by 1.3 by the square root of 1.34. I'm sorry, 1.34 times the square root of the water length. Then you get the boat's speed, like theoretic speed. And what happens is when they go to do this IOR race, they measure the boat's waterline length, and then they give you the handicap off of that. Well, with these boats, the reason that they're a whole bunch of the boats out of the water is because when they heel over, they're pretty thin and they're pretty long. And when they heel over, they heel real far, and it makes that water line lengthen out all the way to the stern of the boat. So now you have that's a good 3.5 feet of boat that you're not getting docked for the IOR rule, and then you can take advantage of when the boat heels over. Now, this makes for a very cool looking boat. It's a very pretty looking boat, right? It looks like it would sail well because it probably will. But the problem is they always heel over really far. They're a little too fast and over rigged, and they're not comfortable. So if you want a cruising boat, you want to go around the world, this is not the type of boat that you want, okay? So stay away from those IOR style boats. I don't know. I'm trying to think if I've ever met anybody that was cruising around the world in an IOR boat. I've seen a couple, but I don't know about cruising around the world. Let's see here. What are you guys doing? Let's see. Pearson's great. Bristol's better. I had a Catalina 27 before the Grampian 30, but I much prefer my Gramp. Yeah, I had a Catalina 27 too. I lived on it with my dog for a year. It was great. A great boat. People that buy Freedoms keep them. Having sailed when I was confused. My last boat was aluminum, Jacobs 48. Yeah, okay. Roy says, what do you think of Northwind? I don't know much about him. I'd have to check him out. If you send me a link in here, maybe we can go and check it out for everybody, okay? Hey, Ministry of Sailing is here. What's up, dude? John Schaefer's here. Go check out his YouTube channel, everybody. Ministry of Sailing. What do you call your YouTube channel? Can you put a link up for it? All right, so let's go back to the boats. I'm going to get rid of this one. So the Catalina 38, unfortunately, is not one of the Catalinas that you'd like. The Trip 47, Trip is a great designer. I would have a good look at that one. 92 Trip 47. That looks like a race boat. It looks like there's a bunch of people on there. There's no Dodger, and they have a big ASIM and carbon sails. So I would say that this is probably a racing boat, but I don't know. Pearson 38, like I said, Pearson, we've already talked about Pearsons. Hunters, I don't like Hunters. I think, to tell you the truth, I think Hunters are the worst sailboats except for Lagoon. I think like Lagoon, catamarans, and then Hunters are the worst sailboats you can buy. Just for the build quality, not for the sailing characteristics. I'm sure they sail fine. There's a lot of people on them, but they are built super crap, and I would never buy one. I wouldn't want. It's like buying the worst car you can think of, like a Pinto or something. In my opinion, that's my opinion. And you can always find these Hunter Legends for sale, but they have very small tankage. They're built really flimsy. The windows have a tendency to start leaking and falling off the boat, falling out of the boat. The port lights are cheap. This is a company that builds 10,000 of one series of boat. So if they can save $4 on some window adhesive and get the cheaper one, that's $400,000 or $40,000 that they saved over the lifetime of that model. So that's why you don't want to buy a boat like that for offshore. Brewer 42. Brewers are good boats. Those are really hit and miss, so it just depends. Pearson again, Hunter again. J-boats, those are racing boats. I wouldn't recommend. I knew one guy that sailed halfway around the world on a J-boat, and he had beefed up the rigging, and he had put an arch on the back, and he was a racer that went cruising. You could just tell he loved sailing fast. But when you sail fast like that, and you have a boat that's light and thin, it's not comfortable, and it messes up the boat. So it just depends on your sailing style too. If you're going to do a lot of downwind stuff, if you just want to go one lap around the world downwind, milk run, go ahead, man. You knock your socks off. But if you're actually going to sail around and go, backtrack a little bit and see those places that you liked again, and maybe take a couple loops around French Polynesia before you leave, you're going to need a boat that sails upwind, and those boats are going to bash. Islander 40. I like the Islanders, except I think that this one is a Formosa, actually. The Formosa had a bunch of different name designs. They called them Formosa, CTs, Yankee Clippers, and I think Island Traders, which some people call Islanders, because the Islander, I had an Islander 28. The Islander 28 and 36 were really, really good boats designed by Bob Perry. This one, I don't know. And the fact that it's $15,000, I would say that boat's pretty beat up. CNC 37. This is another one that's an IOR boat, unfortunately. You see this big transom? Not as bad as the last ones. CNCs make good boats. They're older design, but they're good. Okay, the CSY Walkover. This is one of the worst boats that you can buy, and I think I didn't realize this when I was a new sailor, because I saw one of these for sale, and they're always so cheap. Like, you can get a 44-foot boat for, well, this is $50,000, but I bet you can get one of these for like $15,000. And the problem with this boat is, let's see if I can show you guys right here. You have to exit the boat through this hatch to get back into the aft cabin. There's no pass-through. There's nowhere to walk through. That's why they call it a walkover. That sucks. It seems like you can make it work. Like, it doesn't matter. It's not going to be a big... Yeah, no. Don't do that. It's dangerous. It's stupid. They actually make this boat with a pass-through. So just find one with a pass-through. For a cruising boat, this is not the boat, okay? Morgan 382. I had a Morgan. I didn't like it much. I think Morgans are not the best boats. They're fast. My buddy wins races all the time in Ohio with them. But I don't like Morgans. I had a Morgan Out Island 41, and it had a full keel and a shallow draft, and it was like, it tracked really well, but really what it was made for was Bahamas charter boat in Bahamas. So you would have this boat that was, I've cut a keel off of a Morgan Out Island 41. They're fully encapsulated. There's an inch of glass. It's solid glass. That whole boat is a solid glass boat. I don't know about this one, the 382, but the 41 is a solid glass, and it's built like a tank. But it doesn't sail well because it's got this really long keel, full keel, and really short keel. So you don't point. You don't get the stabilization necessary with a bigger keel on the bottom, more length, and it's not very comfortable out to sea. They're very, very good anchor boats. So if you want to live on one, buy that. Catalina 38 Sparkman Stevens. Yeah, that's another one of those IOR boats. Tartan 37, that's a great boat. I love Tartans. I think John, Ministry of Sailing, has one of these boats, don't you, John? These are great boats. This might be his boat. Are you selling your boat, John? Yeah, I like these boats. They sail well. They do their duties well. They're well built. They're great. This is a lot of money for one, though. It's 38 grand is a lot. So that better be a nice one. Our Irwin 38, I like the Irwins too. Those are great boats. I'm not going to go into it more than that. Moody 41, we already saw. Beneteau, no. Catalina Morgan 41, here it is. So this is the, after Morgan sold to Catalina, they took this Out Island 41 and started calling it Catalina Morgan 41. And I think they started putting fin keels on them. But they're super big inside. You see how big this is for 50 grand? Huge back cabin. Big, huge salon. I mean, I can show you the pictures I had. In the next video that I put out, I'm going to put it out right after this. I'm going to have this boat, my version of this boat, in the video. Big engine room. They look like they'd be great boats, but if you look at the underwater profile, like look how small that keel is. Yeah, this is a fin keel. This is one of the ones that they put a fin keel on, yeah. So this will sail a lot better than those big full keel shallow draft. It's still shallow draft though, and it still looks funny. I think all those boats with shallow drafts look funny to me because they're not really offshore boats. Anyway, don't get a Morgan Out Island 41. This is probably another 454. This is probably another another full keel one. All right, let's keep going. Ericssons are great boats. Bavaria's no. CNC 38 we talked about. That's an IOR boat. You can really see it well in this picture. Let me see if you guys have any questions. John Miller says, I'm selling mine. Please, Albert Funk says, please don't forget to give James one thumbs up. Thanks, guys. Appreciate that, Albert. Much love. Hauser says, hey, James, how do you feel about the T33 Hans Christian? I love those boats. I almost bought one of those. I think it was the first 34. I think it was the hull number one on the 34. I know it's a little bit above the price point, but a bit of a fixer. If you show me a link, I don't think you can post it in the comments, but you can email it to me. My email is svzingaro@gmail.com. And if you email me a link to that, we can go over it. I love Hans Christians. I have a special place in my heart for Hans Christians. I think they're great boats. They're slow, but they're built really well. Let's see. Great to hear your opinions, James. Thank you. Yeah, no problem. SV Second Chance Sailing says, I would not sail the Hunter. Well, not offshore. They're great boats. They're, like I said, you have to be classifying with this. Like, what are you going to do with the boat? If you're going to coastal cruise it and you're just going to sail it around your house and have it in your backyard, great boat. You can live on it, great boat, but don't try to sail it offshore. Let's see. There it is. Ministry of Sailing's link. Thank you. Perfect. All right. There's an HC33 for 30K for sale. Lots of people have looked at it. Sailing SV Yodi says. Okay. Anyway, getting back to this, you can really see on this photo the overhanging stern that makes it the IOR boat that we don't want. Amel 41. Ah, awesome. Another really good boat. So this and that Naiad are my favorite boats so far. Oh my God, this thing looks like a looks like a bunch of hippies live on it. What the hell, dude? Oh boy. People are crazy, man. They put these big spool in the back. Look at the strength of that thing. That's awesome. So obviously this boat had been to Patagonia. Looks like it's got UK sails. That's a really good sailmaker. Don't know how old they are, but yeah, that's a great boat. Amels are badass. Any of the Amels. The Henry Amel was a freaking genius, man. He made a really, really good series of boats. And even these earlier ones, this is one of the first ones. Just the way he thought about it and the way he did it, it's amazing. I am a very, very big fan of Amel's. This one looks a little beat up, but I mean, screw it. It's a nice boat. You can totally get that one. How much do they want for it? 40 grand. Look at that. That's a boat that'll go anywhere in the world. Tiana Pilot House, 1980. Hell yeah, that must be a 37. I've heard a lot of people talk shit about these boats. I love these boats. These are great boats. I've got a bunch of friends sailing around the world on them. I think there's been more circumnavigations on Tianas than any other boat. They're just built well. And this double ender thing was actually disproved recently. So when all of the designers were drafting double enders, they were thinking that it would like cut the wave in half if you were getting following seas, which means you're going downwind, the waves are coming at you. The waves are always going faster than you. So when they catch up to you, that thing would part the waves like Moses. Yeah, it's all bullshit. But Robert Perry wrote a very good article about this. You can look it up. Look up Robert Perry double ender article, where I think he was talking to Bill Krelock. And he was saying, look, I designed some of these double-ender boats just for the aesthetic. Some people like that. And I actually, when you think about it like that, not as, you know, a disproved try, then you can really see the beauty in some of these double-enders. The problem with me with double-enders is it does limit the cockpit space and it does limit the amount of storage in the back of the boat. But it's a big boat. It's not a 20-foot boat. It's a 37-foot boat. So there's plenty of room in this boat. I like these Pilot House versions. It's basically a factory-made hardtop. So it's got the compound curves, and it's got all of the teak and all of the handrails all over it. I think this would be a great boat. It looks a little beat up. Looks like it needs some love. Looks like it hasn't had varnish on the outside for a long time. But yeah, if you're willing to put some work into it, every boat's going to be work, man. I tell people that. Like, it doesn't matter what boat you get. I love the teak toe rail. It's so pretty. Yeah, this one needs work. You can see from all the green spots that it hasn't moved in a long time, and all the rust spots on here and stuff. But look, dude, new lifelines out of Dyneema that'll cost you a couple $100. You can get some OSPHO, clean that shit right up. All this stuff will clean up. This track will clean up. It's probably a stainless steel track. It looks like all the wood is not chipped, and that's kind of what you're looking for in a boat like this. So yeah, it's been sitting a while. It's going to need a refit, but it's got good bones, and it's a pilot house. That means they should have some kind of piloting inside the. Look at how pretty these boats are inside. Wow, so pretty. I love this boat. I think it's great. Oh, there's even a berth up here. Oh no, that's where they stacked the cushions. I see. Oh, you're I'm not sharing the screen. I'm sorry, buddy. There we go. My bad. There we go. Okay, sorry guys. I forgot to switch the screen right here. So I'm talking about this Tiana Pilot House right here. Let me just go over it really quick again for you. This Tiana Pilot House is a very good boat. They have very good bones. They're built well. A lot of people don't like them. A lot of people talk shit about them. But in my case, in my opinion, they are one of the better boats that Bob Perry designed. Bob Perry designed. And this is the double ender I was talking about, okay? So this is the inside of the boat. Let's just click on it and we'll go over this boat real quick because this is a great one. So you can see the pilot house is basically what they did was the cockpit. You can sit out and you can steer and everything, but really for this boat, if you take it into cold climates or you take it into rough weather, you'd probably be inside that pilot house. So it's basically a factory-made Dodger, hard Dodger, with everything built into it already. It's all out of teak. It's got the compound curves. It's got the companionway doors. This is awesome. Y'all with me here? All right. Sorry, Graham. Sorry, guys. I didn't mean to screw that up. All right, back to work. Let's look on the inside of this boat. These boats are fiberglass, but they give them lines to look like wood. I kind of like that aesthetic. Same thing as the double ender aesthetic. It's just something that you might like, you might not. I think this boat looks pretty. And then it looks like it's been sitting a long time. You can tell a boat's been sitting a long time because the bird shit all over it, the wood is not finished, and the green patina on the lines. Do you see all that green there? That's what happens when a boat's been sitting for too long. The rain gets in it, and then it stays in the bottom. That's the last to dry, and then it ends up molding right there. So that boat's been sitting for years. But it's got a hydrovane wind vane on it. I'm sorry, a monitor wind vane on the back, and all the teak looks pretty good, looks in good shape. This boat can be cleaned up. You can also tell if a boat's been cruised in the last like 10 years because they wouldn't have this CQR anchor anymore. There's better anchor technologies out there. So if you see a boat with a CQR anchor, that is this anchor with this little swivel that swivels like this, that boat hasn't been cruised in a long time. So this was somebody's dream that they ended up not doing anything with, and it needs to be completely updated. Is it worth it? I don't know. It's beautiful inside. Look at this. It's pretty boat. It's been sitting. Oh, it's got a nice windlass. Look at that, LaFrance windlass. That's awesome. Those things are like $4,000. I like that. And then look inside. Looks beautiful, right? It's got a Dickinson heater. Shit, this is a nice boat. I would definitely put this on the short list if I were looking for a boat to refit and go around the world. Any boat's going to be work, dude. I'm telling you. It doesn't matter what boat you get. You're going to have to paint the decks. You're going to have to rebed some of the hardware. You're going to have to replace the solar panels. You're going to have to replace some of the running rigging or all of the running rigging. It doesn't matter if it's only 5 years old boat. If it's been run hard and nobody's taken care of it or updated it at all, you're going to have to do all that crap. So why not start with a boat that was made super strong in Taiwan, solid glass, designed by one of the most prolific designers in cruising. This would be your boat, okay? Let me just see if you guys are good to go. Make sure that I'm sharing the screen. Okay, love the classic look of that. James, good to see you on YouTube. Hey, Steve, what's up, dude? Yeah, sorry about not sharing my screen. I'll make sure to do that now. I'm not very good at this. But I want to share my opinions with you guys and kind of teach the newer sailors how to look and how to see what makes a boat good, because there is some really shit information on YouTube, man. I try to, do a little research before I do one of these videos, and I'm just kind of disgusted about it. So anyway, if you're looking for a cruising boat, that one is a good option. So far we've got the Moody, we've got that Tiona Pilot House, and we've got the Naiad. Did we have any more? Oh, the ML, yeah. So the Naiad 390, the ML 41, the Tiona Pilot House 37. Okay, so here's an interesting one. Catalina 375. That's a great boat. That would be a 20 grand. Holy crap! I wonder what's wrong with it. A lot of these boats, they'll hit something on the keel and it'll push up into the boat. Like there's a YouTube channel with some kids that did that, and they bought a boat like that. I was like, no, but they made it work. But don't do that. Don't do what they did. That's stupid. Whidbey 42. Okay, this is a really famous yacht that, to be completely honest with you guys, everybody that What's up? Did I forget to share it again? Oh, shit. God damn it. Okay, I'm just going to leave it on here. Sorry. What an idiot. All right. I'm just going to leave it on here now. I'm not going to go back and forth. So, the Whidbey 42. The Whidbey... What's up, man? Okay, good. I'm back. This is my buddy, Graham, that's telling me, hey, man, share your screen. Are we good to go? Yeah, and then it achieves a Catalina smile. That's the problem with the Catalina boats, okay? Okay, now, listen to this. Whidbey 42, very famous boat. They came in sloops and ketches. They're very well built. The problem with this boat that I see is It's very small for its size, and everybody that I know that's bought one of these things has never gone anywhere on it. I'm not sure if it's like the curse of the Whidbey or what, but I've never seen one of these sailing around. I don't know if the what do the Telu tribe kids have? They might have one of these, but it just seems to me like this is the kiss of death if you buy one of these boats. I don't know why, but I've had like 4 friends that had this same boat, and none of them ever went anywhere on it. I really like this hard Dodger and everything, but yeah, I'd be afraid pe- to I'd be afraid to go buy that boat. It's the tankage is small, the interior is small. Graham says, "Show us the ML, please. We didn't see it." Okay, sure. This is the ML. You guys didn't see this? Did I totally skip this? That sucks. Let's do this again then. This is one of the best boats I see for sale right now in this category. Okay, this is $40,000. It's a 1976, so it's super old. It's almost 50 years old, 48-year-old boat. But Henri Amel, did a phenomenal job designing all these boats. They come with really cool little features. Like there's a little floating level to see how much gas you have in the tank or diesel you have in the tank, and that's just a little piece of plastic that you push, and the thing pops up, and it'll tell you you're half full, you're 3/4 full, you're almost empty. That is so cool. I mean, I used to use a stick and put it in the tank on my catamaran. Yes, you can get floats and you can get interior electric ones, but they always fail. I don't have a gauge on my tanks, any of my tanks on the Oyster. So that is a really cool feature. Just little things like that he did. I think most of his boats came with gimbaled cup holders, and that's a nice boat, man. This one looks kind of crazy. I mean, he's got this big, like, this is for when you go to like Patagonia or Chile or Argentina, where you're down in the mountains and you have to tie to rocks. So that's kind of neat. Looks strong, and looks like you pretty much go anywhere on this one. I think all of the MLs are catches. I think they're starting to put sloops together now, but all of them are catches with mast furlers in them. That's just how they built those boats. So there's the ML. Very, very well built. Looks like a cool bottom profile. It's got a good forefoot. This here is the forefoot of the boat. It's got a nice big forefoot, so it'll take waves. It'll go upwind. It won't pound too bad. I like that boat. So far, my favorite boats are that Naiad 390, this Amel 41, and the Tiana Pilot House. There's another Catalina 38. Lots of them for sale. There's another Tiana 37. Camper and Nicholson, you're on your own with that one. I don't know much about those boats. They have a good profile, but this one might be an IR boat, actually. I'd have to see the back of it. Let's just see it real quick. Let's see it. Oh, see, again, this boat hasn't been maintained in years. Yeah, I don't. You see all the green? It means it's been sitting a long time. It's got really old. Oh, rod rigging. That's nice. Rod rigging's nice. I don't know. I don't have time to go through every single boat. Pacific Seacraft 37. That's a great price for a Pacific Seacraft 37. 60 grand. Those are great boats. They're like cult classic boats. You guys know that Atticus just sold their Pacific Seacraft 42, I think they had, for like $275,000. They sold it in 1 week. People love these boats. They're taken care of. They sell quickly, which is a good thing about a boat, because sometimes it takes forever to sell a boat. Or like me, you try to sell it and it doesn't sell, and you end up keeping it. Again, big forefoot here, so that's what'll take the brunt of your waves, and this will keep the boat from pounding too much. Encapsulated keel and skeg on the rudder. This is a great boat. Small inside though, pretty small for a 37 footer. But if you're looking for 50 grand, you're not going to be getting a 50-foot boat. Beneteau, no. Franz Mass Hawk, I have no idea what that is. Bristol 40. Okay, so Bristol 40. This is a boat that a lot of people love. I actually like it too. But it does have some of those IOR characteristics, and a lot of these boats are super old. So this one's 1971, right? So you're looking at 53, 54 years now, and that is at the age where if it hasn't been maintained, everything will need replaced. The plumbing system, anything rubber, all of the pumps, everything, all the hoses, every single system in this boat is going to have to be gone through. Whether it's been done or not is up to you to figure out from all this information, okay? That's the problem with Bristols. They're just old. They're old design. And because they're old design, you know, the sailing world used to be dominated by men. It still is dominated by men, but it used to be only men. So a lot of these older boats, like pre-1980, they'll only have single bunks in them. No double bunks at all. Because that's kind of where they were at in the 70s. They were, you know, it was you and your buddies would go out for a weekend and, you know, go drinking and fishing and sailing. And then you'd come back on Monday to go to work. I mean, that sounds sexist, but that's just the way it was. Nowadays, people are looking at more of a, you know, family-friendly boat with a couple of queens in it instead of 5 single berths. Now, can you redo the interior and remake it to be pretty? And yes, absolutely, but it's time and money. Le Comte, I love that cheese, Comte, but I don't know anything about this boat. Harden, here we go, CT41. All right, a lot of you guys are going to get pissed off at me on this, but I think that this boat is one of the worst boats that you can buy. This one had a lot of different names. It was originally penned by Robert Perry as a Formosa 41. It was used in Captain Ron. This is the Captain Ron boat. The 51 or the 61-foot version was the Captain Ron boat. They're horrible boats, in my opinion. I've known a lot of people with them, and I've actually this is the opposite of what I should say right now, but I saw one of these boats show up to Easter Island after 30 days out to sea, which should have been like a 15-day passage. And his rig was broken, and his dolphin striker had fallen off. And I gave him a piece of Dyneema, and the boat rolled so much that he was in hell. And him and his girlfriend decided to keep going and ended up sailing. They said it was going to be another 30 days, so like 2 months at sea on that. I hope they made it. But first of all, I don't like anything with a wood mast. The wooden masts are not a good idea for a cruising boat. If you want to have an older boat and have wood masts and you know, like do that thing where you're showing the boat and you're varnishing the masts every couple of years, great. But I don't like wood masts on boat. This could be anodized aluminum. And I don't like this style of climbing, what do they call those things? The mast climbing steps. They make foldable ones that are way better, because these ones, all the rigging gets caught in, and sometimes it gets caught so bad you got to climb up there. I do like mast steps, but I don't like that you have to always have them out like that. That's the old style. And then the boat, it's just a turd, man. It doesn't sail well. Their catches, they don't really do anything well. They're uncomfortable. They don't point well. They're just not great boats. They look so nice. They look like a pirate ship from a movie, and that's where they belong. So just stay away from these Formosa boats for a long-term cruiser. I don't see any of these sailing around the world. I see a lot of people fall in love with the look of them, and I completely understand why. It's a beautiful boat. Look at that wine glass exterior. It looks like they're wood. Same thing with those Tianas. They're fiberglass, but they put those ridges in there to make them look like wood. It's got a big bowsprit, and the sail plan's cool, and the cockpit looks pretty. You can put seats back here. Don't fall in love with this. It's not a great boat. They sail like shit. Hey, here's my Morgan Out Island 41. This is also not a great boat. I wouldn't buy one of these again. When I sold it, it was the best day that I had on that boat. Anyway, they're not good sailing boats. Cooper 416. I don't know. Okay, going back to your questions now. Super windless again. Agreed with you on a Mel's. Plenty of room to stand even in the engine room is what I've seen. Sam M says, what kind of cat was the one that broke in half? It was a Crowther catamaran from it was a Crowther catamaran from 1984. It was penned by a man named Locke Crowther, and it was home built. So it was going against pretty much all the advice I'm giving you now. But that was my first cruising boat. Actually, my first cruising boat was at Morgan Out Island 41, and I bought the wrong boat. And I put tons of money into that, and it was a piece of shit, and it didn't sail well, and I realized it like halfway through, and I was like, well, shit. I got to redo the engine room to get it sold, so that's how that worked. And then about that cat, thinking, okay, I've had a bunch of monohulls. I want to try a catamaran. I'm not really going over cats right now. We can do cats later, but catamarans in this price range are almost non-existent. It's very difficult to find one. Yet, what's the name on the new boat? What is the name on the new boat, James? What new boat? Are you talking about my boat? My boat is Break of Dawn. Newer Bristol that are designed by the 5.7 after length. Will laugh out loud, just a turd. Well, that's true. I mean, I'm not going to pull punches for you guys. I don't do that with anybody that I'm doing. So I do, like, I'm a buyer's agent for people, or they call me and they want me to look at a boat for them, or they want to pay for my time just to do this with them. Like, say, hey, look, this is how much money do you have? What are you looking for? How many people? This is really what I would get right now for you. And so I do this a lot. And you guys can hire me if you really want to. If you're serious about a boat, then you can kick me some cash for my time, and I'll tell you all about it like this. I know way too much about sailboats. Let's see. And what my whole point with that was, if it's a turd, I'm going to tell you it's a turd. If you're in love with a boat and it's a piece of shit, I'm not going to pull punches. Even if it costs me work, because I'm not just going to be a yes man and say, oh yeah, that's a pretty boat, you should get it. If it's a piece of crap, I'll tell you. So Choi Lee 40. Okay, Choi Lee. I like Choi Lees. I think they're super pretty. There's a lot of them that have teak decks. I think you should stay away from the ones with teak decks unless you're willing to spend a month taking the decks off of it. And a lot of them have a lot of wood on the outside, which is kind of a no-no for me. This one looks okay though. I like the look of the Choi Lee. I don't know what the layout of this one is, but this one's not bad. I feature another one in the video I'm going to put out later. That one is not. That one's a no-go. It's the 38. Hughes, Beneteau, no. Beneteau, no. Irwin is an old design. It's like one of those oldies but goodies, the classic plastic. That's what they're talking about, the Irwin 37. Heavy. They'll take a lot of wind to get going, but, stout boat. Freya. These boats, I don't know. I'm just going to say I don't know much about them. I do know enough to say that they're more like the racer boats than cruising boats. Let's see. O'Day. I had an O'Day. I like O'Days. I think they're built well. Like an O'Day to like Catalina. They're production boats that are built fairly well, and they'll handle a lot. Whether or not this one will handle offshore work, I'm not sure. I'd have to see all of the sailboat data stuff on it. Hunter. I don't like Hunters. Morgan, I don't like Morgans. Beneteau, I don't like Beneteaus. Columbia, I don't like Columbias. Columbias are not good boats. They're too old of a design. It was just not nobody that has a Columbia actually went anywhere on one. Or maybe if you did, you could tell me, but I'm not a big fan, okay? So I would stay away from Columbias. Morgan Out Island 41, another one for 20 grand. Wow, I've sold mine for 50. It was nice though. I'd redone a lot. I redid the whole engine room. J-boat, no, that's a race boat. You want to stay away from the race boats. Refitting a race boat into a cruising boat is never a good idea for any new sailor, okay? If you're a pro and you're a racer and you love J-boats, like I said, I've seen a guy that did it, but I wouldn't recommend that to anybody. I don't even know what this is. It looks like a trimaran. Graham's got a trimaran. He's probably going to be mad at me that I'm skipping that, but I would say that's probably not a good blue water boat option. Irwin Citation is a great boat. Corbin is a good boat. Bruce Roberts. That a lot of these boats were steel. Some of them were fiberglass. Baltic. This is a small one, but I like Baltics. This one's got a teak deck that probably needs to come off the boat, but they're built well. Oh, it looks like that's not screwed on. Looks like this is vacuum bagged. Wow. These boats are cool. If you can sometimes find these that are bigger. I've seen like Baltic 52 and stuff. And look at that little guy. Cool. It's got a max prop on it. I think that's a max prop. Little one. Nice boat. These Baltics are great. I like Baltics. Beneteau, no. Whoa, look at that thing. Oh, that's the same boat as before. Cool little trimaran. I mean, if you want to have an adventure, buy that trimaran and try to sail around the world, and you'll end up like me. I got a little PTSD from that. This is a custom John Hutton steel cutter. This is probably going to be a lot of work, but a lot of people like steel boats. If you're going to go into anywhere, high latitude sailing, you can get a metal boat. Another Voki. These are great boats. I love those boats. See, another CSY walkover. 1968 Hershoff 50. Now you're getting into a boat that's super old, and it might be hard to insure it. All right, Bruce Roberts custom steel build. What did I just say? Wasn't that a Bruce Roberts that I just said that they come in? Here we go. Yeah, that they come in steel and they come in fiberglass. I have a bunch of friends with Bruce Roberts steel boats, and they love them. So that's going to be kind of a personality thing, whether you like those boats or not. Big old steel beast that's going to take 20 knots to go anywhere, but if you hit anything, nothing's going to happen to it. Another Catalina 38. I wonder why so many of these are for sale. Probably because either it's very prolific or people don't like them because they're freaking uncomfortable. The CNC 40 as well is the same thing as the Catalina 38. It's an IR boat that it's just not a great boat. So no. And the feelings, I don't know. I don't know my feelings on the feelings. I saw a feeling that had run aground and ripped the whole damn boat apart. So I don't know. Tiana, another Tiana, great boats. Hunter Legend, not great boats. Baltic 39, great boat. Down East 38, I'm not a big fan of Down East boats. They're pretty old design. Beneteau's, no. Tiana 37A, perfect. Tartan 37, awesome. Allied Mistress, great boat. A little old. You're probably going to have a problem insuring it if you want to insure it. Endeavor 40, these are a lot like the Allied Mistresses and your Irwins and stuff. Like the earlier ones had problems with the layup, and they had problems with osmosis, and they had the problems with the boat. But the later ones are okay, so you have to see which hull number that is. Irwin 52 for 40 grand. Somebody wants that. Oh, in Real Dulce, that's why. Somebody wants to get rid of that. And you don't want somebody else's problem. So we got 2 more pages. CNC, blue water yachts, gaff rigged. I don't even know what that is. FAR 37 is a racing boat. You don't want a FAR racing boat. Although FAR does make cruising boats as well, and they make some really good boats. Vaquier, I told you Vaquier, they're very, very well built, and those are good boats. Hans Christian 38T. This is the one you guys were talking to me about, isn't it? Let's see. I'm going to go back to your questions real quick. I'm getting a Mumby, Rob says. Mumbies are great. That's a aluminum catamaran. So they're very custom boats. Me gusta tu nuevo barco. Hi, Anna's here. What's up, babe? Seo Serena says, hire James. John Miller says, I have a Columbia Mark II. Oh, I'm sorry. I just talked shit about your boat. Sorry, man, but that's how I really feel. Will says, here's a wild card for you. Have you ever heard of a Macintosh in Hong Kong? I have heard of a Macintosh. Yeah, I have. I don't know much about them, though. Might have been only one made. I think there were more than one because I have heard of that boat. Is Graham still around? Not sure. Is that Jennifer Aniston who keeps popping up on your screen? I don't know. Jennifer Aniston. Let's see. The floor in my Catalina 27 was a death trap, like walking on ice. Yeah. probably. Let's check out this Hans Christian 38T. This is a great boat. The fact that it's only 30 grand, it means it's probably a piece of crap, honestly. Looks like it hasn't been running a long time. All the wood is black. These are great, great boats, great sailboats. Somebody took the teak decks off. That's nice. Hopefully they did a good job doing that. Looks like this is cracked around the chain plates. The chain plates look a little small. I bet that's leaking down there. I bet that's leaking and moving. That's why, because those are onto a bulkhead. So it's probably leaking and moving, and it's probably messed up underneath. Nice sheaves. Yeah, see all the running rigging that's green? That means that it hasn't been, this thing hasn't been moved in a long time. All this is mossy. But this is a boat that's worth bringing back, because see these mast steps again. Get the freaking folding ones, man. Get rid of those things. All the wood needs redone, but that's goes to say if you leave a boat for too long. Well, it looks like it's got somebody messed around with the wiring. They're taking pictures of bullshit. I want to see. Doesn't look like there's too much water damage. You see, the reason these boats are so well sought after and well made is because if you look on the difference between, like, say, Bavaria and a Hans Christian, this piece of wood and this piece of wood are solid, fat pieces of teak. They're expensive. They take a while to make. The joinery, they call this the joinery of the boat, is fantastic, and you won't find that on a production boat. Also, see these bronze port lights? Just awesome. Worth rebuilding. You don't ever want to have to replace those. You just put new seals in them. They're glass, big pieces of glass. If you don't like the kitchen, you can always redo the tile. This was probably not tile. This was probably marble. And somebody broke it apart and put tile in it because it was messed up, I bet you. Spice rack. That's cool. That's not factory. Neither is this floor. I don't think so. Usually these are teak and holly floors. It's got a Yanmar in it. That's the fridge. It's got Trojan batteries. Those are probably old as shit and needs to be replaced. Oh, the wiring's nice. Yeah, everything looks good. There is some water damage to the headliner. Big bronze port lights. This is a nice boat, man. See these knees? What a freaking boat. Beautiful, beautiful boat. These Hans Christian 38s and 38Ts are super cool. Wow, this is old. Look at that. But look, it's bronze. So all of this part would be fine. But the hoses and everything, and probably all the hoses behind it and everything need to be replaced. It's an old style toilet. I would just rip out the whole toilet and replace it. If it was me, I would just replace it with an electric one. But this is usually what you see on Hans Christians, is this marble. So I bet you the counters in the front were the same marble. They probably just got banged up after a while. You could put new granite into it or marble into it if you wanted. Let me tell you a story real quick. When I was on my Morgan, there was a guy with one of these, and he was a marine carpenter, and he was redoing the floor. Like somebody had let this boat go like this, and he got it for like 30 grand. And this is a $60,000-$70,000 boat any day. I hate this PSS shaft seal. I'd get rid of this. These things sink boats. I'd get a last drop if I was going to use a shaft seal. And he was redoing the flooring. So he was like laying down pieces of teak and then pieces of holly and then piece of teak and gluing it all in. And he had to redo a big section of the boat. And he did a fantastic job on it. And I think he bought that boat for 30 grand, had it for a couple of years, and sold it for like 90 grand. So I think that this would be a great boat. You see how big that, what do they call those things? And now I'm getting tired. This piece that goes onto the rudder shaft, they're big and just stout on these boats. A lot of the times on these Hans Christians too, they're worm gears. Like the steering wheel will be back here and there'll be a worm gear that goes behind it. And they're super, super strong. So I love this boat. I think that this is on my top 5 boats that we've seen today. Okay. Chris says, my first sailboat was a 1992 McGregor 65 pilot house. They had almost zero wood, solid fiberglass, and they're fast and easy to handle. Couldn't beat it for 30,000. I don't really like those boats, to tell you the truth. They're too thin. They heel over too much for me. They're probably fast because they have a lot of waterline, but quadrant, yeah, those things are called quadrants. Anyway, yeah, that's what I think about this boat. Great boat, great option. So you can't go wrong with like the Vaquier, the Hans Christians, the Naiads, and the Imels if you can find one like that. All right, this is where I'm going to stop doing this. Okay, we're about through anyway. If this were a boat selection for me, I wouldn't do it this way. I wouldn't just randomly look through every single boat available. I'm looking for specific boats. So this is what I would do. I would do the exact same filters. I would put a price range that was in my price range, but I'd put, 37 feet. I'd probably put 42 feet because with my lifestyle, I think 42 feet's about the lowest I would go. I've been on a lot of boats, and I like having friends over. I like being able to charter. I like being able to have at least 4 or 5 people comfortably on my boat. So that's 42 feet plus. I think that 50 feet is the maximum I would go. So what I would do is I would say 42 to 50. And then I would put the price range at, say, 100,000 to 200,000. And then I would go down to makes, and I would go more makes, and we'd go through every single make that I like, okay? Alden, Amel, Baltic, Bowman. Bowmans were cool because they were a lot of them were hulls that people could buy and then refit. Let's see, Cal. I love Cals. Cal 40. There was none for sale on this one, but if you can find a Cal 40 for under 50 grand, buy it. Those are great boats. You might need to spend a little more than 50 on those. Let's see. Contest, great boat. Halberg Rossi, Hans Christian, Hylas. Island packets are kind of a cult boat. I put them in there because I like to see them. Koopmans, good boat. Lagoon, no. Leopard, no. Little Harbor, those are probably out of that price range. Those are very... Masons are great boats. They were built in the same yard as that does Tiana. Moody, Naiad. Come on. Oyster, Pacific Seacrest. Come on. Passport. We're going to do Passport. Prout, no. Privilege, no. Sabre, no. Saga. That's another Bob Perry boat. I'll put Tai Show just to see what comes up. Tiana. Trentillas are okay. Vagabonds are okay. You can put Vagabond in there too. Valiant, those are great boats. Valiant. Van de Stat, they make like steel boats, or if you're in the steel boat market, you can put Van de Stat in there. Voyage. And I think that's it. Oh no, those are cats. Oh no, Voyage are yachts. Okay, that's it. So that's what we have right there, and that's my filter. So I would save that search and say what's available right now for, this is getting out of the same price range as we were in before. But if we disable the price and go back to our original price of 10,000, my computer's having problems keeping up. Probably because I'm doing this live stream. Give me a second. 10,000 to 60,000. Boom. There's 3 boats with those makes in the $10,000 to $60,000 range. Cal 43. There's a Little Harbor. Wow, there's a Little Harbor. and a Vagabond. What happened to the Naiad? That's weird. They must have not classified it correctly. Well, that's a problem. I didn't think about that. People that misclassify them. Well, you're just going to have to go through them. Anyway, these are all of the makes that I like. You can screenshot that right there. If you want to screenshot that, that's the makes that I like. There's a couple other ones that I didn't see in there. And then there's some that I didn't put in, like the CNC I didn't put in. You can probably put in CNC. There's Vaquier here. Hold on. There's a bunch I missed. Trip made some cool boats. Ryan from Sail Libre is on a Trip design boat, like a 65-foot Trip design boat. I love Hirschoff boats. I'm kind of a classic boat guy. If you can find something that's decent, that's probably it. Yeah. Okay, so this is what you should screenshot here. Boom. Right there. All right. So that concludes our live stream. I hope this was interesting for some of you. I am going to put out a video right now that's ready to go. So if you'd like to see that, I've labeled it the worst sailboats of 2025 and the worst ones to buy. And a lot of the ones that we talked about are going to be on there. And then you get to see pictures of my Morgan Out Island 41. And you get to kind of see more of like a polished version of what we just went over. But we just went over what we want to buy. I'm going over what I don't want to buy. And then later on, I'll do another video of the best boats in 50K. The best boats in 100K, best boats in 200K, you know what I mean? To try to give you guys like a good idea of what I'm looking for in each price range. And then we'll even do a catamaran version. I really, really want to do, this year I'm going to do catamaran versus monohull because I've got like a lot of miles on both and I think it's time. I just didn't feel really qualified to do this until now. So much love, everybody. Happy New Year. Happy 1st. Thank you for hanging out with me your first day of the year. And have a great day. Have a beautiful, beautiful time. And if you're interested in joining our WhatsApp group, all you have to do is go to patreon.com/SV Zingaro, Sailing Vessel Zingaro, and sign up. You can sign up for free. And I give a lot more updates on there. And then I have, for all the paying members, it's only $1 a month to get behind the paywall of the WhatsApp group. So we have a WhatsApp group. We call it the Saloon, Zingaro Saloon. There's about 150 people in there, right, Graham? Graham is the admin for that group too. And thank you for doing that, buddy. And that's a bit of good fun, man. We have almost daily updates in there, and we talk about boats. People meet up with each other. It's pretty neat. It's a cool little society. Anyway, love you guys. Much love, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace out. Let me get off of here.